everyone, this is Mike. I'm here in Kyoto in Uchi City. Behind me is the National Tax Building. I just had to come here to process my tax documents for last year. I came in this morning about 9:15. I had to wait maybe about an hour and a half, but everything was very organized. It was very systematic. They had somebody there helping you. You took a number, you sat in a row, and you just kept moving up until your number came. The gentleman who took care of me, he was very quick, very nice. He helped me process very quickly. And although it all took about 90 minutes, the actual processing took maybe 20 minutes, and I was out. So I was, that's like sasuga, as we can expect, the great, Japanese service. But something that did come up yesterday was I went to my city hall office first because they normally would do the processing of the taxes. But I got this one of the tax forms late. But so I went yesterday, and they already had closed their processing last Friday on the 15th. So they sent me down here. I came in, it was about 2:45, and when I came in, I saw the sign that said it's closed for the day. And I thought, that's strange because this is a government office. I figure they're open till at least 4:30 or 5. So I walk in, and there's nobody there. There's some people waiting, sitting down, and finally I catch somebody, one of the staff people, and they tell me that, oh, we're closed for today. And I said, it's only 2:45. And he said, I said, what time do you close? And he says, it's nothing to do with the time. They're open from 9, but it depends on how many people they have waiting. And when they hit a certain number that I guess takes them to the end of the time that they're supposed to be taking in people, I don't know if it's 4 o'clock or 3:30, they said that they stop. So I thought, that's strange. So in the next 10 minutes, while I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do, asking him questions, 3 other people came, same problem, same questions. They asked what time do you close? Because the sign said, they're closed on the outside. When they come in to ask, because no one can believe it's like 2:50, 2:55 p.m. and that it's still, why would it be closed? So 3 other people came. One gentleman was quite angry, and he said that he can't take off, and he took off today to come, and he had called, and they said that if you come by 3 p.m. should be fine. So he figured that as long, and he was there by 3, and again, the staff person of the tax office, he apologized profusely and said he was sorry, but that's the way the system is, and that they only take people until as many people they count, and I guess they have some calculation how many people times maybe 10 minutes or 10-15 minutes each, and then they close. So to me, that didn't make any sense. And why not just set a time, 2:30 or 3 or whatever it is, and in that way, because if not, it is so confusing for the taxpayers who come in, as well as that poor gentleman who was on the front lines of the tax office. I feel sorry for him. He has to keep apologizing, explaining, and everybody is complaining and saying that they cannot come again. And to come to the tax office, you have to take the train to Okubo station on the Kintetsu and then walk a good 10 minutes. So for the cost and for the time, you can't just take off and come back tomorrow again. So he was dealing with that, and I felt sorry. I'm thinking to myself, every day they must go through the same thing, especially if they have a lot of people waiting and they cut the cutoff time early, maybe it's 2:30 or 3 or 2 or whatever it is, that they have to be a lot of people complaining. And because it's a government office and they should be, and taxpayers pay their salary, and they should be, working with the taxpayers who are paying this salary, that they should be more considerate or more, conscientious of this rule. But again, the other part of Japan was fine. Like today I came in early, it was smooth, very quick, very efficient. That's the paradox of Japan. On one side, it can be smooth, clear, especially if there's a precedence. But anytime there's no precedence, but in this case, it's not about a precedence, it's about a rule that was made by someone in the tax office, And maybe there was some reason, I'm sure there was a good reason, maybe long ago, or maybe there still is. But at least for now, I can't figure out the reason. It makes no logic. And for those Japanese who are coming and complaining, it wasn't necessarily a cultural thing. I know common sense sometimes is not so common, as well as common sense sometimes is cultural, meaning that depending on the culture, the common sense, quality or the common sense perspective is different. But with those 3 Japanese that came in yesterday, I could see that they were thinking the same thing I was. So I don't think it has to do with a cultural common sense thing. I think it has something to do with somebody in the tax office, some big boss said, oh, we want to maximize all of our workers' time since taxpayers are paying for it. So we will take as many as we can to the very end. And so the only way to do that is we can't set it by time because maybe we would end too early and the tax office workers would have some free time at the end and we wouldn't be maximizing. Or maybe if we took too many, they would have to work overtime and we can't pay overtime. So let's go on just numbers and calculate exactly to maximize each tax staff worker's time. Now I know that's a lot of thinking, but that's the only conclusion that I could come to, because why would you base the end of each day by how many people you had, and every day it fluctuates? Wouldn't that be a major inconvenience for all of those who are coming in to talk to you about their taxes so they can pay their taxes, which pays their salary? I don't get it. And these are one of those paradoxes of Japan that I go, wow, am I missing something? So, like everything else is great. And if you come here in the morning, it's fine. But if you come in the afternoon when they are closing at different times and it fluctuates depending on how many people are there, and I don't know how they calculate that or how many people they have. I mean, how many people they take until what time, but they have no explanation. And so the guy on the front lines yesterday, poor guy, he must do it every day, or whoever's on the front lines, and apologize to everybody. People must come in, they must complain, they must be mad that they have to take off from work or wherever to come. They have to pay the train fare, they had to walk here, maybe it was raining, they got wet, all of those things. And yet the office is open but closed, meaning that it's open, but it's only open to take those until the number that the tax office people decided was just right, so they could maximize, I guess, their resources and not have to work overtime, but yet maximize the time and work time of their staff people. I mean, that's the only thing I can get. That's a lot of thinking though, right? Anyway, that's another part that I go, wow, Japan, I'm sorry, I don't get it. So maybe I am totally off, or maybe there is a need to reconsider this style of closing the office, or when to close the tax office to the public. Instead of doing it by numbers, maybe do it by time. Even if you have some extra time and your staff has some extra time off at the end, it's better than meiwakuing or bothering or troubling your taxpayers who are paying your salary, right? From the tax office side. Anyway, that's my take on this today. That's the paradox of Japan.